What is up, brothers and sisters? Kunal here. Guys, we got a lot to uncover in the stock market today. We had another sell-off, and frankly, the indices are masking the true destruction of what's happening. Yeah, we've had 3 down days, but there's been a lot of damage underneath the hood of the market. So let's take a look at the market indices, and then let's figure out what the heck to do for tomorrow. So first of all, we've down a few days in a row. 20 points on the QQQ, so about 4%, give or take. So nothing like crazy, right? But the individual action has been Gennard, right? You know, you have stock after stock just collapsing, right? You know, you have stocks that like really had strong moves on earnings, also giving back, you know, all the gains and then some, right? And that's where the real underlying action is, right? Like you see these stocks like APP, and, you know, they drop back down $130. So let's take a look at the indices and then kind of the watch list for tomorrow. But the price action is nasty. The high flyers are getting taken down. But there is some things underneath the hood of the market that maybe we can look at to get some action, right? So you can see market breadth, 31% of U.S. stocks were up, 40% of the QQQ, 33% of the Russell, and 56% of the SPY. So overall, in general, right, tech was really leading the way down, and, you know, in total in the U.S., right, almost all stocks were down. So nasty little action. Yes, the Qs were down by 1.17%, but it felt worse than that. You know, if you look at the SPY, it was only down 0.5%, but it felt worse than that. You know, if you look at the QQQs today, we gapped up, and this is the kind of rug pull action that makes people just, you know, throw their hands up in the air, right? And wave them around like a helicopter. Like you got, you know, you gap up and you're like, okay, maybe we're bouncing. And then boom, you get rug, you go green to red, you take out the previous day's low, and you get this kind of waterfalling effect. And the sell programs and the algos have been kicking on in overdrive, right? And so now, right, you know, you get this flush, and then later on, like you kind of have this, you know, this is like your classic kind of bear market trading action. You get this like classic bounce, and it's like just teases enough right back into resistance, and then right back into the close. You get, you know, downtown Julie Brown, and that's some nasty action right there, right? That's a nasty action. We got as low as 518 in the after hours. Can't write a better script than that, right? So nasty action. We have some earnings plays here. These also failed. TEM was the hot, you know, grossy Pelosi play, and it got down to what? It got as high as 90, right? And now you drop $30. Think about that, $30. And you know Pelosi sold, right? You set earnings out, just disgusting action, right? HIMS got the 73 earnings out after hours, very negative reaction once again. You know, these things are bleeding off. No matter what, if they beat on the earnings or not beat on the earnings, I think that's besides the point. They are just collapsing, and that's telling us that the risk is off on the, you know, in the market. If you look at the overall IWM, we lost the 200-day moving average, which we've really been holding for this whole last year and a half or year and some change, and we lost that today. So, you know, that'll be something to keep an eye on too. Now, the green shoots of all of this is that there are some stocks that are getting towards awesome levels, and that's something to be mindful of. Guys, this market was so extended. It was so frothy, right? When you saw stocks like Oklo going from, you know, $4 or $5 to $60, it's a lot of frothiness. And so you have to deflate all of this, right? And a lot of times when these runs happen, we miss a lot of these moves. How many times when you see a run like this, like as a day trader, you know, you sit back, you're like, fuck, I should have swung this, right? I should have swung these. I could have made so much money. Oh my God, like all these stocks are up a double, a triple, and you know, here I am pikering it for a buck here, buck there. So now they're all starting to come back, and so they're going to give you the opportunities to, you know, get some participation. Now look, this type of dump, this takes time to heal them. I'm talking about for a momentarily bounce, we're going to get some really good spots. In terms of, you know, in terms of long term, we may need a period of months to weeks, I don't know, where you grind and kind of build out new levels. That's very normal after you have like such a long trending period. And guys, these aren't like low volume, orderly, you know, God-fearing pullbacks, right? These are like, you know, throw the baby out with the horse water kind of thing, right? So I'm going to keep a short list for tomorrow, all right? I have some stocks I want to bounce off the 50-day moving average, all right? Number one is this PLTR. If I can get this to 85, price support, 50-day moving average, get an 18 stochastics. If it gaps down tomorrow, you'll probably be sub 10. I like that, all right? Then you got the Oklo Nation. The stock's a turd. It's a zero revenue company, I believe. You're into old breakout spot and the 50-day moving average. If it gaps down tomorrow into the lower Bollinger Band, I mean, that'd be fantastic. We could really have some fun with that. Hood. You had a big earnings breakout here, pulled all the way back. Looking at this 50-day moving average, we're at 6 stochastics. I also wouldn't mind an undercut over the 50 and get this thing back into the old breakout spots. So you get 2 levels of support, right? Kind of a confluence of different things. I think that could be a buenos. I like that overall look too, all right? Now, there are some like kind of there are some other plays here that I think might be worth watching. NBIS was a really hot one. It even had a decent reaction on its earnings day, but now it's just pulled back. Let's see how this one reacts around the 50-day moving average. Not as clean as the other two, but, close. Roku, right? Gapped up on earnings, and now you've pulled back. I think this one's right at a good spot, too. And then, my thinking is probably APP. You've got this is the breakout spot. This is the gap fill. So somewhere in here, I think we can roll with it. And I think we can roll with it and get this thing back down. And, dude, we'll be off to the races. So we got a lot of stuff that we can do, guys. It's all going to be great. We're setting up for a run. Now, we still are going to need to do some shorts. Look, we don't know if the market's going to bounce. We may need one more big rug down into the lower Bollinger Band. That's often in the cards. So if we need one, some shorts, I think Google has a little bit of a range here that we can play right at 179. Microsoft finally broke its range here. That looks like a little bit of a good short there too. AMD's also got a nice bear flag here. I think this 107 sends it down. Dude, those look pretty good, don't they? And then look, NVIDIA's got its earnings out in a couple days, so, this could save the market. But it feels to me like this is a longer term kind of blah, right? So I'm not exactly sure how it's going to react to their earnings. But in this market, even if they beat, they could get punished anyways, right? And then you have Tesla here as a bear flag too. So I think, we've got some of these kind of Maggie 7 plays to bear flag it. This one looks clean. So does Microsoft. Google, both of those look clean. And then, on the upside, if we bounce, I want to hit, right, the Oklo Nation. I want to hit the Oklo Nation. I want to hit the PLTR, and APP, right? I think that's just a nice short list. We're right at the sweet spots. Be flexible tomorrow, right? I don't know if the market's going to bounce or not. All I know is that we're setting up for the hot move, right? But when you try to time these kind of bounces, these counter trend bounces, these crashy bounces, you got to get your balls nicked a couple times, right? Because they just never move as clean as you want. So just got to be mindful of that. It's not like, hey, we're down, XYZ. This is the time to buy. When you're short-term trading, whether you're swing trade or day trade, sometimes you got to stop out a couple times small and before you can kind of hit it. So just be mindful, but we're getting into the levels and we'll see what's up, all right? So I love you guys. Take care. Let me know if you have any questions. Peace.